Prasser is a senior fellow with the Centre for Independent Studies, and he joins me now to help us get to the bottom of it. Scott, thank you very much for joining me. What has this review been asked to do?
Well, it's been asked to do a number of things, to look at skills in the future, to look at access and opportunity, to look at investment sustainability, to look at governance and accountability. It's to look at vocational education issues, quality and sustainability, and delivering new knowledge, the issue of commercialisation. So it's got 7 different sort of topics, which is a lot to do, given that many of these topics have already been reviewed in the last 5 years. So we're going back to that again. I think this inquiry is really just about the Labor Party trying to control the agenda and set the agenda on these issues. And that's indicated by the way it's framing the questions.
So tell us how that question's been framed and who has been appointed to the task of generating the results.
Sure. So they talk a lot about, so there's a lot of emphasis in the terms of reference about access and making more access to disadvantaged groups, to Aboriginal groups and so on. So there's a lot of talk about that. There's not a lot of talk about quality of tertiary education. There's a lot of talk about exploring areas, exploring different areas of funding, exploring possible opportunities. So it's very vague about what they're trying to achieve and improving skills. So there's that aspect about this inquiry. And the fact that it's got a 33-person sort of reference panel on top of the 6 members of the inquiry indicates that, to me, it's more a talk fest. What worries me most, it talks about developing a universities accord with the government, just like we had the accord with the Hawke government, with the union movement. We're going to have a universities accord. I don't quite know what that means. Now, its members, it's got 6 members on its main core of its panel. 2 of them are university vice-chancellors. They're from reputable universities. They're from what I would call outlying universities, Adelaide University, University of Western Sydney. So they're not from what we call, Melbourne University or Sydney University, those sort of things, but that's something wrong with that. It's got a senior businesswoman from Macquarie. That's probably a good thing. It's got a former Labor minister, Jenny Macklin. Okay, it's got Professor Berendt, who's works at UTS and so on. And it's got a member, former National Party minister, Fiona Nash, who has got a regional education role. So it's pretty slanted in the sense to people with certain Labor Party connections and to certain types of universities. So it's pretty.
So, Scott, let me interrupt you there because we are. Sorry to interrupt you because we're short on time here. Let me just crystallise this. If they're avoiding a discussion about improving quality, which is where the problem is in our universities, but expanding on new opportunities, is this just a blatant play for big money for big universities that we know is part of the Labor DNA?
I think it's about having more people go to universities. And I think one of the problems we have in universities in Australia, we've got too many people at universities when we've got a great skill shortage. And universities, a lot of people do arts degrees which don't give you skills to fix cars, do refrigeration and so on. So this is talking about the Labor agenda and appealing to the unions and so on. It's appealing about that sort of agenda of making universities more accessible, but not necessarily talking about what are the quality we need at a university. Our universities have been open up to a wide range of people. I've taught many of them, and many people should be at more skills-orientated activities. I think we need more vocational skills-orientated education rather than more people at universities. So this is the ALP payback to the university sector in a sense. The university sector is always short of money, and this is the payback to them.
You're always a wise contributor on everything higher ed. Scott Prasser, thank you very much for your time. I'll be interested to talk with you about what this accord looks like down the track. Thank you very much.